The wind whispers secrets through the trees around Sleepy Hollow, secrets of an age-long past, of battles fought and lives lost. A restless spirit's forever bound to this hallowed ground. The air grows heavy with the scent of decay as twilight deepens and the gnarled branches of ancient trees reach out like skeletal fingers against the darkening sky. This is the hour when the veil between the worlds is thinnest and the creatures of the night are most active. Ichabod Crane, the new schoolteacher in town, finds himself inexplicably drawn to this place at this hour. Fear a cold and clammy hand grips his heart as he approaches the old bridge over the Pocantico River. The legend of the Headless Horseman has been haunting his waking moments, and now it invades his dreams. It's whispering to him of danger that lies ahead. He hesitates, the urge to flee warring with his morbid curiosity. With each step, the shadows seem to deepen, and the silence grows more oppressive. Ichabod, haunted by tales of the horseman's wrath, pushes on, desperate to escape the clutches of fear that threaten to consume him. His eyes, wide and glistening in the gloom, scan the darkness for any sign of movement, for any glimpse of the dreaded apparition that has become his nightmare. In the flickering light of his lantern, the trees contort into grotesque shapes that seem to mock his terror. The river, usually a source of solace, now appears as a dark and treacherous beast, its surface a mirror to the turmoil in his soul. The weight of tradition, the stories his students had shared, presses down on him. Every hollow tree, every rustle in the undergrowth sends a jolt of fear through him. As the night deepens, so does the terror. And with the dawning of a new day, a chilling discovery is made. The story of the legend of Sleepy Hollow unfolds, weaving a tale of fear, superstition, and the haunting presence of the Headless Horseman. This story is brought to you by our channel. Join us for spine-chilling tales that will leave you questioning reality. Subscribe now if you dare. Sleepy Hollow was a village ensconced in the heart of a pastoral landscape. Its very name whispered of slumbering dreams and tranquil nights. But beneath this idyllic veneer, there lurked a darkness, an age-old fear that clung to the town like a shroud. It was a place where the boundary between the world of the living and the realm of the dead was as thin as a spider's silk, where the spirits of the departed were known to stir. Here, nestled amidst rolling hills and babbling brooks, stood the old bridge over the Pocantico River, a silent sentinel to countless stories. For those who knew its history, it was not just a passage over flowing water, but a portal to the unknown. A gateway to the other side, where the Headless Horseman waited. One fateful day, a stranger rode into town. His name was Ichabod Crane. Tall and gaunt, with a head like a hatchet and eyes that gleamed with an insatiable curiosity, was a schoolmaster, come to teach the village children their ABCs and 123s. But little did he know that he was also in for a crash course in local lore, a crash course in fear. The locals, a hardy, God-fearing folk, were a superstitious lot. They spoke of a Hessian trooper, a soldier who died during the Revolutionary War, a victim of his own hubris who dared to defy the supernatural. Some said he was a cruel taskmaster, flogging his men mercilessly. Others claimed he was a traitor, selling his soul to the devil for power and riches. Whatever the truth, he met his demise at the hands of his own comrades, his head severed from his body in a fit of rage or retribution. But here's the twist. They say his spirit refused to find peace. Bound to the earth, he roams these very streets every Halloween, searching for the one who dealt the fatal blow, forever seeking vengeance. They called him the Headless Horseman, and his legend hung over Sleepy Hollow like a storm cloud. When Ichabod arrived, the townsfolk warned him of the impending Halloween celebration. A night when the veil between the worlds was at its thinnest and the Headless Horseman most active. Their words were a litany of fear, a chorus of warnings that echoed in Ichabod's ears long after they were done. And so it was that on the stroke of nightfall, when the air grew chill and the shadows stretched long, Ichabod found himself alone on the old bridge over the Pocantico River. The legend of Sleepy Hollow tells a tale of courage and cowardice, of a man torn between his own mortality and the promise of the unknown. From the moment he stepped foot in Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane carried within him a primal fear of death. It was a fear that gnawed at his insides, a constant companion that whispered in his ear, urging him to flee. And now, standing on that ancient bridge, the full force of his terror manifested. His heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic tattoo against his bony frame, as if trying to break free from his chest. His breath hitched in his throat, forming a lump that made swallowing impossible. Each creak of the aging bridge, each whisper of the wind through the trees sounded like the approach of some monstrous apparition. He clutched his lantern tightly, its feeble flame doing little to pierce the enveloping darkness. In the flickering light, the trees took on monstrous shapes, gnarled fingers reaching out to him from the darkness. The river below churned and hissed, becoming a living, breathing thing that threatened to pull him into its murky depths. His mind, a battlefield of conflicting thoughts, urged him to flee, yet his morbid curiosity held him captive. As the wind picked up, carrying with it the scent of decaying leaves and something else, something indefinable yet undeniably sinister, he felt trapped. The legend spoke of a curse that befell anyone who lingered on the bridge after sunset. And as the minutes ticked by, each one an eternity, he feared he was cursed already. The idea of death, which he had always kept at arm's length, now loomed over him, a specter in the darkness. Fear, a cold and clammy hand, tightened its grip around his heart, squeezing the breath from his lungs. His legs trembled, threatening to buckle beneath him, and he fought to keep his balance, not wanting to appear weak before the unseen watcher in the darkness. As the shadows grew longer and the night deepened, his resolve crumbled. With a choked sob, he turned and fled, racing away from the bridge, from the river, from the darkness. The legend of Sleepy Hollow is a testament to the power of fear and the lengths to which it can drive a man. With each pounding hoofbeat, Ichabod's terror mounted. Was this the horseman? Had he been chosen? He glanced back, desperate to catch a glimpse of his pursuer. And there in the dim lamplight, he saw it. A horse, its head adorned with a flaming pumpkin. With a snort and a toss of its head, the horse reared, and for a horrifying moment, Ichabod saw the riderless torso of a man silhouetted against the glow. Then the horse was upon him, its breath hot on his neck, its hooves drumming a death knell on the hard road. Ichabod stumbled, falling to his knees. He looked up, meeting the horseman's gaze, or what remained of it, to burning embers where eyes should be. A strangled cry escaped his lips as the horseman reached out, not to help but to harm. The legend tells of a final confrontation. A desperate flight from death personified, a race against the grim reaper under the cloak of a starless night. The Headless Horseman, with his flaming pumpkin for a head, rode closer, his spectral form growing more distinct in the firelight. His face, or what was left of it, was a ghastly mask of terror, a warning of the fate that awaited. Ichabod, paralyzed by fear, could only watch as the horseman raised his arm, a gesture that promised unimaginable torment. Then came the shattering crack of thunder, followed by the deafening roar of cannon fire. Startled, Ichabod looked up to see a brilliant flash of lightning illuminating the night sky. A moment everything was still, the only sound the pounding of his own heart. Then the horseman vanished, dissolving into the darkness as quickly as he had appeared. Left alone in the eerie silence, Ichabod rose to his feet, his legs shaking, his body trembling. The encounter had been so real, so terrifying that he was left weak with shock. As dawn broke, casting its pale light over the sleepy village, Ichabod Crane was nowhere to be seen. The legend says that he never returned to Sleepy Hollow, haunted by the apparition he'd encountered on the bridge. Some say he spent his remaining days searching for a way to outrun the horseman forevermore. Others claim he simply disappeared, vanishing into thin air, leaving behind only whispers and speculation. And so the legend of Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman became part of the lore of Sleepy Hollow, a chilling tale told around crackling fires on dark and windy nights. The old bridge stood silently over the Pocantico River, a silent witness to centuries of history. A reminder of the night when the veil between the worlds was thinnest and fear ran rampant through Sleepy Hollow. The legend of Sleepy Hollow continues to captivate and terrify, reminding us of the darkness that can lurk beneath even the most picturesque exteriors. Join us next time for another spine-chilling tale, and remember, some legends are best left undisturbed.